Hey, what's going on, beautiful people? This is Queen Aishah, and thank you for joining me for another episode, a special episode of I Know Dope People. And tonight I have on some of the lovely, amazing, wonderful ladies from All the Single Ladies, the Docu-Series on OWN Network. We have Miss Katrina from Detroit. We have Kimberly from Illinois. We have Cecilani from California. Is it San Francisco, Los Angeles? She a Cali girl. And me, Queen Aishah from Newark, New Jersey, now residing in Atlanta. And we're going to share our stories. You get to come in the chat and ask some questions, get some advice, because we're going to give some advice. It's going to be good advice, hood advice, sister advice, advice. And we may have some other females from the show pop in as well. So the first person I'm going to introduce is Miss Katrina M. Harris. She is from Detroit. What is it? The Truth by Trina. Come on, Katrina. Come on up. Yes. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me, girl. Yes, I love it.
Popping, honey.
Let's get up my skin. Thank you. I'm vegan. That's the secret. And black don't crack. So
yes, honey. That's it.
You glowing over there too.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're gonna have, and they're on the West Coast, so we know that it's 3 hours early. So we appreciate you coming on, stopping whatever you got to do to run through Los Angeles traffic to make it to be here.
When you told me 5, I said no. That's 3 o'clock my time. I mean, that's where you get so you can be ready for this, because you ain't gonna be driving nowhere between 4 and 7. Absolutely not.
Yeah, okay, it's crazy, exactly. And the next person we're going to introduce is Cecilani. She is awesome, beautiful smile, beautiful hair. I said we're gonna get this name right. It's a beautiful name, and I wanted to add stuff. So Cecilani, come on and tell us where you really from in California.
Hi, how are you guys? Hello. I'm in LA. Silani, like
Silani. I don't know why that T right there.
The T just throws it off.
I know, Silani. Thank you, Silani, so much for joining us. Your parents gonna be mad.
No, I do.
In advance.
They're already mad. What else are they gonna be mad at?
And next up, we're gonna have Kim joining us. She is originally from Illinois. Kim, come on through. She was the one that said, "What he tell you? Your sexual needs will never."
Your sexual needs will never be of my concern.
I said, "Oh," and he said it like he had a vocabulary. I said, "Ow," very disrespectful. Ladies, thank you so much for your yes. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, first of all, for being so vulnerable, along with myself and all the other women on All the Single Ladies, for sharing our stories. We're going to jump right into it. First of all, I'm going to ask the question, what your mama say? What your auntie and them say? What your exes say? Did anybody call? Did you get any calls like, what happened? Why are you talking about that? Who want to go first? Answer that question.
I go, because I ain't gonna lie, I was nervous. We filmed the show far back, and when I left the studio that day, I had to make phone calls immediately. Like, I don't know when the show gonna come out, but I brought you up and I talked about it, and I respected you, but I said a couple things. So I really was waiting on my mother to see the show. Mm-hmm. I knew my ex was never gonna watch the show. Mm-hmm. But my mom called me and she was proud, and she started to try to explain some of the things. Like, baby, I had no idea. And baby, you look good, but this is what I was thinking when this happened. I say, Ma, it's okay. Like, it's okay.
Absolutely.
And then my son, who watched it with me, we watched it live, he was like, Mama, you telling the truth. I was like, that's all I got now is living in my truth.
Yeah.
And then my ex's best friend called me. He said, sis, because that's like my brother. That's my kid's godfather. He said, well done. Job well done. So that I'm all right. I'm glad. I'm all right with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Cecilani, how did your response go? What was your response from your lady, your parents? And you said you have a son, right?
Yeah, I have a son. My son loved the show. He thought it was great. He was like, "Oh, I didn't know that about your dad." You know, his dad. My girlfriend loved it. She was super supportive. She said it was super cute. Like, honestly, most people that I know that I'm close to were proud because I, was just like super open about everything. But I haven't really gotten any feedback from my mom yet. So
okay. Did she watch?
She said she was going to. I didn't want to press it. So I was like,
okay. And what about you, Kimberly or Kim?
Kim's fine. My mom was a little concerned. She said, I'm going to hold off on comment. I'm going to watch it again. So she watched it a couple times and then she said, I feel guilty. Did the business because she was a business owner. And so she was worried that that she left us alone too much. And so she was like, do you think me owning a business affected your childhood? And I said, well, no, not really, because you have to remember, I initially started the business when I was 12. And so she took over and I made tons of money and she started taking over the orders and stuff. And I think she felt the guilt that, like, and my sister and I, we joke that the business was our third sibling. Because of how much time that it took. And if anything, it taught us resilience. So, and the good thing was, because most of my domestic duties were taught by my dad and my stepdad, I was raised that men help around the house. So I was raised kind of like a modern woman. I guess that's what they call now. A modern woman, back in the 80s. So, I said, don't worry about it. No, you taught me basically the way it's supposed to be.
Awesome. So I would say that my mom watched. She's probably watching now because she just called and asked for the link. Hey, Geraldine, Gigi. My mom is like real super cool. I know that. And first going back to what Katrina said, I was nervous. I was nervous when I did it. Excuse me. My cousin has a casting company. She actually cast me. She had asked me. Thea Washington a couple of times to do different things to audition. I was like, no, I'm good because it has to be in alignment with me, right? Sure. So I did this. I was nervous, but I also felt it was time to release, right? Then after I did it, I was nervous. I was like, oh, did I say too much? But everything I said was in truth, right? But now I'm trying to, because my thing is to honor my parents and honor myself, to honor and respect my former husband and honor myself. So I think I did that. Here's the thing: when you set your intention is if your intention is to not offend, that's your intention. Now, how people take it is going to be something different, right? You can only do what you can do, and you have the right to tell your story. So my mom, I think she's pretty cool. She's always told us, like when we were in our 20s, she would say that had she had the knowledge that we had at that age, she would have done things differently. But all in all, I think she's cool. My dad hasn't seen it. I said when I'm able to get the link, I'm just going to send it to him because my father ain't going through all that internet. No, he's not doing that.
Right, not at all.
Yeah, I told him what one of my friends said. She was like, "Oh, your father gonna beat your butt." And I told him, and he like laughed about it. But he's cool. My siblings, I know my sister after me, Razia, she watched it. And she was cool. And she was like, yo, I didn't know you felt the same way about marriage early in life that I did. Like, there's nobody good enough to marry me. I'm not marrying because of, infidelity and all those types of things. So, and people be like, oh, you look good. Oh, you did well. Oh, you spoke well. I was like, well, I got a little bit of education.
Girl, it was my brothers for me. I feel you because my brothers, they called me and they said, we've been watching the show. What episode you gonna be on again? Because I'm not on till episode 4. They said, well, all the women is pretty much talking about how these men kind of did them wrong and they were surprised. And it was like, what you gonna talk about? They knew. If for anybody that don't know, my episode is why women cheat. You know what I'm saying? So they was like, this gonna be interesting. I hope she don't flip the script and just be on this TV lying about stuff or whatever. And I said, it's gonna be fine. Leave it up to your own brothers to clown you.
Yes, but Katrina, I would say all of these stories is just so great, and it actually gave me, watching episodes before mine gave me more courage to confirm, just to say, yo, you did well, it was fine. But let me tell you something, Trina, when you talked about how your former husband dropped you at the airport, I don't know if he was tired or something, and he said, well, you gotta work. I said, what happened?
Ooh, I never forget it.
You work 2-3 days away. Not dogging you, sir. But I was like, what happened? Look up, she can't even speak.
I never forget it because, you know, sometimes in a marriage, you're not gonna like each other every day. Mm-hmm. That's fine. But sometimes you need that friend and you need that partner. It's different roles that you feel FILL, being a spouse. So I just was looking to him as a friend because my hands and my back were kind of like seizing up. And I'm like, I don't even know if I'm going to make it through this work weekend. I'm getting anxiety. Like if a hairstylist, and y'all know this because everybody got a hairstylist or a barber, we don't get sick. I tried that one time. I tried calling in sick to work. Do you know the girl got me on the phone? I'm thinking she checking on me, one of my clients. She said, well, can you stand up? And I'm like, girl, I said I'm not gonna be there. I can't function. And it's just insane to me. And that's when I realized, whatever he was focused on, it was not being my friend in that moment. It made me feel like a commodity. And it's not that he didn't work. He held down benefits. And that's important, you know, and he kept a job. It's just, it didn't matter what he did. Let's just address how I'm feeling right now. Like, I don't get to talk about my feelings at all. So when he looked at me and he said, I don't know what the problem is, Katrina. Everybody got to work. You're going to work. So looking back on it, I think that he was thinking, don't come down on me because I'm not the man that say the wife ain't got to work. And I feel that that's how he took it. But at the same time, it wasn't about him in that moment. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Kim, for you, the gentleman that told you that your sexual needs would never be a concern of his, do you still communicate with him? That right there, like that right there, that just did something to my spirit and my vagina. It just,
Well, ironic. I was a nervous wreck because we were actually pretty close after we got divorced. We were still friend status, and ironically, the first episode, the red flags aired actually New Year's Eve, and so we had a falling out, like the 27th or so. And he got a hot text message that said, I just wanted to let you know I did a show. And before this happened, I was really concerned about what I said. I said, I want to thank you for the freedom of the fact that you are now blocked and we are going zero contact. And I now celebrate everything that I said on the show. And I let the kids know we are now, your father and I are now zero contact. We are a gray rock status where you do not speak to me unless it is a 911 emergency. But other than that, I can't have, sorry, my phone just decided to fall over. I can't have the toxicity anymore. I can't. And literally, as soon as I blocked him, so much in my life just took off. It was literally like the universe said, and cue happiness and take happiness. And I think it was like this cleansing. It was like the final act of me constantly like trying to keep the peace and no more. I literally never have to speak to this man again. So, and there's still these little moments of past trauma that he has taken that I still allow ownership of, which I'm slowly working through. But pretty much after I got off the stage last night, I realized I was done, that I was completely healed. I was done.
That's beautiful. We coming back to that healing part. Now,
Yeah.
Solani, now your relationship that you spoke about, that was like when you were like 19.
Yes.
You're just like 25 now. Anyway,
I'll take all of the compliments. Okay, don't play with me.
and you have a new love, a great love across, we're going to say across the border in Canada.
She's right here. She's
okay,
in Canada.
Hey, girl. So, have you communicated with the ex?
No, I haven't
Okay.
spoken to her in years. It's been a
Okay.
very, very long time. So she may or may not see it. I don't know. We
Okay.
kind of have a couple mutual friends, but she
Gotcha.
probably won't. She may or may not see it. You know, I still speak to the father of my child, and he probably won't see it either because he don't even be watching TV like that. So
Right. Okay. Okay. Awesome. Well, me and my former husband, we do not speak. So I'm sure that he may hear about it, maybe, and that's cool too, because we ain't mad at nobody. So let's talk about the healing. I think the healing is very important. To speak about the healing, to speak about our role that we played in it. For me, I will start. I initiated the divorce. We had separated 2 other times in the marriage, right? And I knew this was the final time, so I knew how I had to move. So just because you initiated don't mean that your healing gonna come any quicker or smoother because of it. Yeah. And I think that at different times you touch on different things. So I really believe, because I've just been also doing different just healing for myself, period, just cleansing and different things of that nature that I've been releasing lately. So when the show aired, it definitely stirred up some things, and where you reflect. Yeah. But I would honestly say that I believe that I'm truly done. That door, that chapter has been closed. I can accept my role, and where I was at that time. I even talked to that Aishah to say we in 2022, we good. We are safe, we are fine, and all is well. So, Sonali, what would you add to that as far as your healing, your role in the relationship?
I would say, don't be afraid to ask for help or to seek therapy. For me, therapy has been super. I will continue to go to therapy as long as, I feel like I need it. But I've been in therapy for probably like 15 years on and off. So I would just say, don't be afraid to seek help, because sometimes it's like you don't want to tell people you're going through things and you'll keep it to yourself. Just being open about it, at least to people that you trust anyway.
Yes. I think that, and people sleep on therapy, especially our cousins and us. That right there, no, for real. Because in therapy, they give you tools.
Oh, for sure.
To use. And it's the tools.
Yes.
And they're able to separate themselves from the situation, whereas though your friends or your family, they may have something and they may be a little biased to the situation, the person or whatever, but a therapist will get you right. So please do not sleep on that. And Katrina, what would you add regarding your situation and your healing and your role and everything?
Right. Oh man. This was our first breakup and our first big argument in 18 years. So it was the first, because I don't argue. And I can see my fault in the marriage of never speaking up. And once I did, him and the children and everybody else was like, who is this person? Where's she been? And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of my fault. So I was really hard on myself for just putting a perfect persona up. So there was a lot of inward looking that I needed to do. Thank God that I was in film school at the time. And I did a documentary with myself and my children where I interviewed them and asked them questions that, now that you have a virtual mom, now that all of these things have happened, what do you have to say? And in that documentary, just the 3 of us having our own mini therapy session really gave me the closure, the validation, the approval, the release that I needed. Because immediately when I cheated, the next day, he was like, everybody come into the family table. As a matter of fact, it was this table right here. He's like, kids, ain't nobody going to school today? Listen, your mother and I ain't together no more. She cheated. Katrina, tell them what you did. I'm like,
are you serious?
You just told them what I did. I ain't got shit to say now. Like, what the? He called family. He's still telling everybody as if I should be ashamed of who I am, kind of thing. So that healing, once my children knew and forgave me, and I forgave myself. And they came on, they said, look, mama, people not going to understand you being away from us. We know you were a good mother, and that's your business. We love you. Keep winning. Keep winning. And that gave me all the closure I needed. They gave me all the closure I needed. Because your kids see you. They see you every day. They see you uncut. And that's my story.
How old are your children?
Oh my goodness. My son sent me a video today. He just got his license finally. He's 17 and my daughter is 16. So 17 to 16, they getting ready to go to college. They just got off a Black college tour. And so I live in Cali and they live in Detroit, Michigan.
Yes, we got that on the Docu-Series as well. And Kim, what would you say about you? Because you already mentioned, you said you healed, and last night you left the stage, you left right there on the stage, huh?
Yeah, I literally went up on the stage at the end of the show, and some of my former students were there, and they came over to take pictures for me, and just all of a sudden I just heard a voice that said, "You are healed." And I have the pictures of that moment, of the series of shots of where you just see my face is just slowly changing, and I just lose it. And then all the kids are around. Well, they're adults now, but they're still my babies. They're still kids. And they were like, "No, don't cry, don't cry." And I was like, "These are happy tears. I'm so happy." And then they started crying. I was crying. And then security said, "Ma'am, you need to leave." And
hey, they be ready to go.
It was such a beautiful moment. And then all of a sudden, "Ma'am, can you leave?" And so
I'm telling you.
Wow. But it was so cathartic to because I had an ex-boyfriend that thought I should do stand-up. And his toxic way of being supportive, it's sort of like I was getting a hug and a punch at the same time, because he was like, have you ever thought about doing stand-up? And I was like, I don't want to do stand-up. Because I had dated a comedian and I knew what that life was like, of traveling and the inconsistency and the drama of booking and not getting paid, or being promised one thing and getting something, it was just a lot of I was like, I don't want that life. And so I was like, no, thank you. And so he was like, do you know the money that we could be making? You could be famous. And so I'm going to manage you. And every time you say something funny, I'm going to make you put it in your phone. And so what he would do was he would make me we could be in a conversation. I would say something humorous, and then he'd be, put that in your phone. And I'm like, we're in the middle of a conversation. I'm not going to speak to you again until you put it in your phone.
Oh, no.
And then he would keep silent until so I have a whole file in my cell phone of jokes. Wow. And the only way I'd be able to communicate is if I would stop, put it in my phone. So I got that he saw something in me that I really didn't see for myself. I get that part. But it was traumatizing, because part of me was saying, oh, okay, I don't want this life. And then the other part was, this man saw something in me, but he was so toxic about it that it was just wrapped up in a lot of emotions. And so that's why I kind of had the meltdown on the stage, because it was all of these, what I suppressed, what I thought to be true, what I assumed, and what I knew about myself, that I did have the talent, but I didn't think it was for the world. It was just for family, friends, because I've come from a very humorous family, that it was just something, if you're funny, just be funny for your family, and that's enough. You don't have to try to capitalize on it. And so it was all these different preconceived notions. But now that I've been on the stage, honey, I got the fever. And I'm like, somebody give me a microphone.
Awesome. How long have you been doing comedy?
One day.
Was it just last night?
That was my first time.
That is awesome. Welcome to Comedy Wakanda. Well, welcome, honey. And
so it hasn't even been 24 hours yet.
That's beautiful. That is, well, I see why you said you healed and you released. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So this is what I was going to ask. As a comic, I've been doing comedy almost 30 years now. So would you say that some of whether it's a former relationship or just some things in life kind of drove you to do comedy, and it's also your healing and your escape as well? Now I know
I
Solani said she was thinking about doing. We're gonna get you on that
Yes,
stage, girl.
trauma could get me.
well, I came from a theater background, but I
Mhm.
just I saw myself as more of a dramatic,
Mhm.
actress or whatever, and I was like, oh, maybe someday I'll be on a dramatic series. But I was like, you know what? Just let me teach high school. I'm fine. And that's for somebody else, and I would just push it away. And then I would see like, oh, I have a student that's in this film. I have a student that's starring in this. And as long as I saw my students were doing well, I didn't have to worry about myself. I could, and honestly, it just came full circle on Saturday. I was doing some work, and the camera guy all of a sudden walked into the room, and he put the camera down, and he said, because the kids used to call me Mama Forbes. And so he said, Mama? And all of a sudden he puts down the camera, and he was like, Mama Forbes, is that you? This man is now 33 years old, put down his camera and came up to me, hugged me, and said to the whole crew, this woman made me who I am today. And he held me. It was almost like a 2-minute straight hug. And he was fighting back tears. And he was my first student that said, I'm not going to go to college. I'm going to just go work in the industry. And his parents called me and they were like, Kim, can you talk to him? You're the only person that he'll listen to, that he needs to go to college. And I said, you know what? He has a plan. I made him promise me that if he feels like this isn't working, that he will definitely go to a 4-year university. So he made a promise to me, let him have his own path now. The full circle moment. And I was worried about this boy. Full circle moment. All of a sudden, the director comes into the stage area and he said, are you the teacher? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, I want you to know that I'm the director that hired Riley right out of high school. And he has been with me for the past 15 years.
Wow.
And I said, so you're the person that took care of my baby. And so then we hugged.
And gave
So that little sacrifice of me not working in the industry, I'm now seeing the fruits of my labor, that maybe I wasn't in front of the camera and doing my thing and stand up, dramatic acting, whatever. I didn't do my thing, but I taught these kids and they're all over. Let me just say, if I ever called up an army and I was like, rise up, children, we are shutting down Hollywood.
Rise up, children.
That's beautiful.
I literally could shut down Hollywood.
Let me tell you, that's awesome.
Wow.
But you weren't physically doing it, but because you poured into them, a part of you is with them as well. I think that is really, really, really amazing.
Circle.
Yes, yes, yes. So as comics, since we're talking about being comedians and we're women, do you find that our lifestyle, what we do, can be intimidating when it comes to dating? Just being entertainment.
As a comic, your life is your stories. So you telling these stories and making jokes about them, don't nobody want to be made fun of. I've had many men say, oh, you a comedian? Don't put this in your set. Don't. It's two types of people that I date. They either say, don't put this in your set, or here, you can have that joke for free. They think they're about to give me material.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Sometimes maybe giving you material, I'll be like, thanks.
And then wait, Aisha, then they come to the show and they be like, oh, you actually funny. You be like, bro, I know.
Exactly. Exactly.
Thank you for your validation, but I know.
Exactly. It's interesting. I think that the intimidation thing is real strong, because I think men are very sensitive. You know what I'm saying? Men are very sensitive, and then they have that ego and that pride thing going on. So if you say, first of all, you're a woman, even if they don't know that you're a comedian, that you have personality, you have opinions, you can speak up for yourself. A man that may not be used to that or may have some insecurities, it can be a little much, because you want to say something. So would y'all say that has been some of your experiences as well, as far as dating?
Oh yeah, for sure. I would say dating women and men. They have all across the board, depending on who, but definitely have had some issues with trying to like dim the light, like you're too much, or you're a little bit, or a little commentary when we're fighting or stuff like that.
Yes, that dim the light right there, that part.
That part
Yeah,
got
I've
me too, say money.
experienced the dim
Yeah.
light, the yeah, I used to be a network television executive, and my ex-husband was like, well, I think it would be better if you're at home with the kids. And so I was, I was an executive for a major network for CBS, and listened to him. And now all of my friends that I started off when I was like supervisor manager, and they were like assistants or whatever, they're now the president of whatever at Sony, the vice president of whatever at Fox. And so it's been difficult over the years while I was in the classroom teaching film production. And then I'm watching, you know, and I see in the trades, so-and-so just got a production deal with Netflix. And I'm like, girl, I remember you used to go get me coffee, you know, like. So that was a little difficult to watch because I knew it was where my ex did not want me in that world. And I was one of the few, and especially in the 90s, I was one of very few brown faces on the executive side. And then when I meet people and they're like, you gave up what? And I didn't really realize who I was at the time.
Yeah. Wow, that's powerful. And I believe that that dimming the light, and I think sometimes we do it.
Yep.
A person doesn't have to even say, even family, they don't have to say anything, but you just feel that from their energy, the way they move, that I got to kind of dumb myself down. I got to play low. I don't do it no more. You gonna have
I'm a bit much for this one.
have to
Right.
meet me here, or you gonna miss me.
Yep.
Yep.
You have to put on your high heels and your grown woman drawers and man drawers and bras and all that stuff and come on up. So we have a question in the chat. My sister asked, "What is dating like for us now? Who on the street? Who booed up? Who on chill?" Look at Katrina's face. Who booed up? Who on chill? Who what is it?
Dating for me now is great. I'm excited. Like, I'm happy.
Because you got your one.
Yes.
So for me, I'm not dating now. I'm single.
All right, in the store.
I'm marinating. I'm marinating.
I'm marinating too, if that's what we calling it, Aisha. If that's what we're calling it. I mean, I done interviewed a couple guys, you know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't call it dating. You know, I've gone out, I'm social, but there's no one that I'm dating regularly. And I feel that is because, for one, I attract very young men. You know, I'm attracting like 25-year-olds, and I don't got. When I tell you a 25-year-old can't do nothing for me,
Nothing but take out your trash. No disrespect.
Listen, no disrespect, bro, but I got mileage, okay? I done ran a family. I got kids. I can't do nothing with you. You need to live a little bit. And so the men in the middle are the men that have like families and whatnot. So that really don't work. So then now the older men, I'm vegan. Some of the older men, their lifestyle really just don't match up. And I ain't really as available anyway because I work. You know?
They looking for a nurse. Some of them
or a personal assistant or something. And I'm like, bro, I done did my servitude. I done served my country well. I'm looking. I need a real man that know how to treat a woman that's ready to sweep her off her feet. I can add to that. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm gonna let it come. I'm not on the dating side. I'm just gonna meet somebody old school, regular, or I'm just gonna be happy being me because I'm alone, but I'm not lonely. You know,
there we go. Katrina, you have a mic on?
I don't. I hear that rambling, but that's not mine. I don't know whose rambling that is. Like, let me press mute. Let's see if y'all still do it.
I love when people do stuff in unison.
Oh, it ain't me.
It stopped. I don't know what it was. Okay.
I still hear it. I mean, it's
like now it just came back in. Kim, is it?
Let me do it.
Wait, let me mute.
Do we still hear it? Is it me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I don't
hear. Okay, I'm gonna mute and let Kim try.
Okay, I'm not unmuted. I mean, I'm open.
It kind of went away. Y'all in the same house?
She across the hall.
Look.
So now it's like Kim, what do you have your phone on?
What do you mean?
Because are you sitting in on something? I wonder if it's something that's moving in the background. I don't know, because it seems that it might be you. We're gonna work.
Let me see when I speak. No,
it's not doing it now.
It stopped.
Somebody playing games up in here. Somebody is hating because we in here talking about these relationships and getting healed and all that stuff. So,
well, I am dating. I am on the apps.
Hell yeah.
You can have that. Go ahead.
It's traumatic.
Yes, I can't.
I am supposed to be on a date right now.
Yeah, she told me that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so when you sent me the message and said, "Hey, 5 o'clock," I was like, "Ooh, that's the exact same time I'm supposed to be on this first date." And we have rescheduled this date now. This is probably the 4th time for my.
You don't really want to go on that date then? You don't really want to go on that date?
Well, no, it's where like I got like a booking and I was like, oh, I can't, so it's been like legit. And he works in the surgical field, and then he delivers medical devices. Like it was like an emergency heart valve replacement or whatever.
Okay,
so he's got it. So no, it hasn't been like, yeah, I'm just a little busy. No, it's been like, I'm booked, I can't be here. And so then like today it was this. And so I said to him, it was a test. I said, well, I know that we've had to reschedule so many times. And I got invited to do this podcast. But if you don't want me to do the podcast, I will go ahead and honor because you have first booking. So if you would like to I will cancel the podcast. I won't do it. And he was like, are you crazy? Of course I want you to do the podcast.
That's your man. That's your life mate right there.
He said, that's your man. That's the choice.
That's what you need. That's right.
So it was a little test to see what he would say. And so he was like, just send me a picture of you looking all cute or whatever before the podcast. And so I was like, okay. So no, and it was a test because he was like, yeah, we've been trying to do this. Do you really need to do a podcast? If he was kind of that mentality, then that would have let me know you're not going to be able to ride with me as this star rises. So I needed to see what his mentality is like. Hey, babe, things like this may happen where I may get a last minute opportunity of like, I may have to do something in regards to press. And he was totally chill.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love this. I really wanted us to have this opportunity because, believe it or not, the audience asked, well, did you all meet one another? Jamie asked that on the show. No one had really met. I don't know if any of you all know each other before knew each other before the show, but I didn't this is the funny thing. Kim looked familiar. Katrina looked familiar. It's another young lady. She's from DC. I can't think of her name. She's either on my show. I think she's on the episode after me. They were looking familiar. So then when I was connected, I was like, well, Katrina, oh, she a comedian. That's why. Kim, oh, she do commercial. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. Faces and things of that nature, then being in the industry. So, but honestly, none of us really knew each other. But we connected because of our stories. So we have those stories to share. So we have this sister villagehood. So now it's like when I come out to Los Angeles to visit, I'm gonna be like, Katrina, what you cooking? I'm vegan on Thursdays, but Friday, if the chicken smell good, I might take a bite.
Because I feel like we bonded. We all have so much. It's just so cool to be liberated this way on this platform, man.
Yeah,
the energy is so cool.
Yes, and I just think that we've opened up a lot of doors to healing. It's a lot of conversation, especially in our communities. We don't share these type of stories. Like I'm 52, so I know my mother's generation and the generations before her, they don't talk. Now my mom talks, so let's not get it twisted. Geraldine got something to say. It still comes from that, you know what I'm saying, that generation. Like one of her friends, like her friends that watched, they were like, so like, oh, Aishah did well. Because a lot of people, they didn't know what was going on because it wasn't, I was doing me, I was young, you understand? And I'm resilient, but that doesn't mean that you're still not being traumatized and all of those things, right?
Yeah.
So one of my mother's friend called her and was like, oh, she just talking about me. She just told all her business, blah, blah, blah. And she had, mentioned it to my mom. And she said, her friend said, well, Geraldine, Jerry's very free. So her children real free. You know what I'm saying? It's like, in the beginning, it might be the hurt, the embarrassment, because when I looked at in the beginning stages, when I first got married, it was that whole embarrassment, right? I'm 52 now. I'm like, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. That's what I'm like. I'm not mad at anybody. Am I more wise? I have that wisdom that I can definitely pass on. And my next question was going to be like, what would you say to younger self? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, because you know, we when we young, we bounce back and all that stuff. But now I can say to myself, Aisha, like, you good, move on, and be okay
Yeah.
with moving on. You know, but also
Right.
I know that if I had not had that experience, I would not be who I am now, right?
Right.
So
Facts.
Right.
you
Without
have to
it.
take all of it. And what
Yeah.
would you say to your younger self, Katrina?
Let me say this. You just called out that you was 52. You look amazing,
You look
Queen.
amazing.
Okay. This smile, this skin, this hair
Ah,
you
thank
rocking, this
you.
You
whole
look good,
vibe.
yeah.
You in there, okay, as they say. You in there.
Thank you. My mother, because I know she
Yeah.
watching, I'm gonna say this, it's gonna make her smile. Geraldine told me to tell y'all when y'all talk about my skin and how good I look, that she used to put pee urine on my face to keep it popping.
I know a lot of people swear by baby P.
That's that
People
old
still
school,
swear by
yeah.
it. Girl,
But
get
she ain't do
some
that.
on
We just,
Amazon.
That's
I
good.
grew up Muslim, so we ate a lot of beans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Legumes. That's what's up.
A
My
lot of
younger
beans.
self, my younger self. I met my husband at 19 and I got married at 21. That was the last time I dated. So from that perspective, me trying to learn how to date now in my
Mm,
40s, I would say to my younger self, you just have to be patient.
mm,
You have to know who you are
mm.
at every season in your life because you're going to be adding to every group and every person that you're adding to. And if you blend or if you let those people just kind of impress upon you and you don't have a strong sense of self,
Mm.
you're going to end up being lost every time.
So how about
That's
that?
what I would say to myself.
That's right there. Because you're just taking on different things, and we pick up energies anyway, and people opinions, and they can form us in a not so healthy way. That's
And
dope right there. You go ahead and
yeah.
copyright that.
Mhm.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's just like
If you
what
learn it, because if you learn, I tried to tell this to my kid's father. I said, do you feel like we failed? He said, yeah, big old fat F. I said, listen, I learned so much. When you learn this much, whether it comes back around for us or not, it's a win. How
Mhm.
else could we have learned this huge lesson? How
Yeah.
else?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't look at it as no failure. I don't really have no regrets about it.
Now I'm
I
gonna
really
add.
don't. Except that I hurt somebody. I do.
Yes.
That was one of
Yes.
the dumbest things I ever freaking did. But at the same time, it's all working together to cut, shape, and mold us into who we called to be in
Mm.
purpose and what we're supposed to be doing here. So you got to learn from life.
Yeah. Now the
You got to learn.
gentleman, do you keep in contact with him? Because that was somebody you just knew from your neighborhood anyway. Do you still keep in contact with him?
I don't. I know how to reach him because
Right.
we went to elementary school together, kindergarten through ninth through eighth grade. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like if I knew how everybody's family know everybody, but
Right.
I don't talk to him on a regular at all.
Gotcha.
We're not interested in each other. We're
Right.
not interested in each other.
It just happened. Mm-hmm. What you say, Katrina? You left out with a drink.
I left. I would.
He said, I said, damn, this story
That
good. I
liquid
said, I need
courage-
some shit.
Listen, that liquid courage is a mother, and it's not that people be saying don't blame it on the alcohol. Only thing I blame on alcohol is that your guard is down. That's what I'm saying. You know, your guard is down.
You're looser. Not
You
loose.
get a little more
You're a
fearless.
little more easy.
Yeah, you get a little more nonchalant, a little more
Relax.
fearless, a little more
Mhm.
whatever, feeling yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Look, it's a lot. She right. Let me jump in.
No. I was agreeing with you. I felt everything you said, Katrina. I was looking at
And what would you say?
Yeah.
And what would you say to your younger
Oh,
self?
I would tell my younger self for sure that it gets better, and also that it's okay to be your full self,
Mm-hmm.
and also that just love yourself, because that's like difficult. Like learning to love yourself, I would say it's okay. Things are gonna get better for sure.
Mm-hmm. And Kim, what would you add? What would you say to your younger self?
And I talked about this in the show. The biggest thing is to ignore the timelines, because I was so
That's good.
gung-ho about 30 that I thought that the world ended at 30. Like there was just this, like if you didn't have, because I was a schedule girl, I was like, I'm going to graduate from college here, and then I'm going to do this by then. And I had this whole thing in my diary of like, and here I had already named my children. The whole thing. I had the plan, and I just needed that man to show up on schedule. and he was not showing up on schedule. And so then when my ex-husband was singing the right songs, I was like, he throwing it down. He's cute. He's had a great family. He's had a good sense of humor. Oh, he's cute. And and he's smart. And I was like, okay, I think I should have his babies. Oh. And so I was like, okay, and you know what? I'm turning 28 by the time we plan the wedding, right on schedule. And don't you know, I was pregnant by August of my 29th, by my 29th year. And I found out I was pregnant by 30. So I literally was on schedule of like, okay, impregnated, you know, and I was more worried about living up to the schedule and getting things done according to my plan than what was a good plan. It was just the plan, not the best plan. And the only thing is I do regret there were things that I let go. Like I do regret going back to the classroom and giving up my position at the network. So I do regret that. But if I hadn't taught, there are thousands of kids and even hundreds that still keep up with me, that talk to me, that send me messages. Because I started teaching at 20, I have former students that are 45 and 46. And so they're grown. Some of them have more kids than me on their third marriage. They are adults. And so that part, because of that, I don't have the regret. So it's like this bittersweet of being with those beautiful souls made it worth it.
Yes, that's awesome. So ladies, have you ever written down like your divine mate?
I did. My husband. I wrote out all of what I wanted.
I know it done changed. Let's talk about it. Done changed.
It done changed.
Well, I haven't. But back in the day, my mother said, "Get a note card. Write down everything that you." And I still have the paper. Write down everything that you want. I think I wrote it when I was 18, 19, and she said, "Write it down. Put it in your Bible." And he was almost the exact list, but that was a teenage version of me that truly didn't understand what it meant to be a husband. So I got, he needs to be cute, or he needs to have faith. So I got that, but I didn't know to say he needs to also have career goals, be driven. I wasn't thinking about that. I was trying to get a husband and a family. So my 19-year-old list looks a lot different than my 55-year-old list.
I know. I bet it do.
So I ain't writing down no divine list or nothing. I want what the Creator got for me in the season I'm in, and that may change in 2 years, 1 year. I've never been one to need to know. Like I believe in manifestations, and even when people go get psychic readings, there's an energy there. I don't want to know. I'm not gonna say I like the element of surprise, but I'm only concerned with what's happening today.
Right. That's beautiful.
I'm only concerned with what's happening today. That's me
too, but I'm writing my list down. You better write it down, make it clear, and make it plain.
Very clear.
But I understand what you're saying.
Like that. So wasn't it Viola that did that? And some went on Oprah and talked about it, and even down to it was a lot real specific.
Yeah, real specific.
Yeah, because you can be like, I want a man with money, and he had money, and then the other stuff don't match.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
And you be like, well, the money there, but I don't really like him. Yeah. So
I don't like him.
I like him. And the reason you bring up money, because a lot of people, money, that type of thing.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my list of questions. So first of all, let's talk about Katrina. Talk about the show. So Kim talked about her performing last night for the first time. Congratulations. You said it was so awesome. So please tell us. So they had at the Laugh Factory on Sunset in Los Angeles, they did a comedy show that featured a lot of the women from all the single ladies. So y'all got to meet some of the women you had not met. And Katrina, tell us, because you said the show was awesome. So tell us about your night.
It was, because as storytellers, we did the show and we told our story, and it was very serious. And some of us had a little comic relief, because even in my drama, I had a whole piece where everybody's like, I bust out laughing when you said, XYZ. So being able to do the show last night there's a part of me that was like, we really about to laugh at the fact of all this hurt and all these relationships. That's kind of fucked. I'm not.
You good? You good?
Okay, that's kind of fucked up. That's kind of dark, when you think about it, because all this stuff happened in our life, and we're trying to connect with the audience on the show for empathy, and now we're saying we making jokes about it. But here's the funny thing about me being a comedian. This is my material all day. I've always talked about whatever is going on in my life, because as a comedian, you kind of could make a joke even at a funeral. You just see the world in a way where it's not accepted by many. But I said to myself last night, this is the platform I've been wanting to be on. I've done Laugh Factory San Diego. I've wanted people to take me seriously as a comedian. I work around comics that have never seen what I do. This is my new job. I text the marquee to my kids because they had us all up on the marquee, baby. And that's when it hit.
Yeah.
That's when it hit me. I say, this like a billboard on Sunset. This is how California is a global platform. Father creator. You mean to tell me my story and my journey and my purpose is about to reach the masses tonight, like here right now? That was a moment. And I went last. And I was like, oh, I'm closing out this dang on show? Okay. Okay.
That's awesome.
That's dope.
I'm speechless. I text my kids and they go, mama, go. That's what they said. And they was like, I was like, this what we sacrificed for, y'all, right here. So I don't even know what that's going to lead to, but that's the confirmation that I needed, that by separating from my kids and remaining here, finishing my degree, pursuing and transitioning from hair to comedy, that I can say that out loud and people not think that I'm crazy. Because even one of my brothers was like, that's fine if you want to be a comedian. Ain't nobody laughing at you. He said, but you're going to pursue that at 40? And I was like, yes, I am.
Why not?
That's right. Because it only gets better. Yes.
I've been emotional all day. Okay, that's why I put on no makeup for this thing. I've been emotional.
But you look beautiful.
Thank
Let me
you.
tell you something. I had mine. When did I have my day? What's today? Monday. So it's okay. It's okay. Have your day. Have your moment. Honor yourself.
Yes.
Whatever moment is that you have, and for whatever reason, honor yourself. Yes. So I think that's beautiful. It's so funny that you said, like, he was like, I want the billboard at the marquee at the Laugh Factory. Like, let me tell you something. I they're promoting the show on the different apps, and when I knew it was on OWN Network, I knew that. Then when I saw me on the OWN IG, I don't know what that was. I was like, what happened? And then it came to me, you have this on one of your vision boards to work on, to be a part of OWN, to do something on OWN. I put it on my vision board some years ago, and I was like, oh my God. And I was taking, I was like, Mom, like, yo, for real, like, that is just so amazing. Like, for me, it's all about being in alignment. I don't say yes to everything. And I tell people I'm a working comedian, so I ain't gotta say yes to everything.
Being in the middle of the stuff you prayed for or the stuff on your vision board, you write that stuff down. You don't be wishing, you know that you can. But when you get there, you like, I did it.
Yeah,
I did it. Every day I do these prayers. Every day I was doing these prayer and push-ups just to keep my mental together from my life changing so much. When you take care of a family of 4 and some kids, and now all of that's gone, every day I had to just confirm what I wanted. Thank you, Father, that I graduate and pass my classes. Thank you that I'm a successful comedian. Thank you that I'm seeing myself the way you see me. And just being in the middle of that, it blow your mind.
Yep.
It blow your mind.
Like, because you do it, you claim it, and you keep going, and you done did and claim something else and done. And so when you say, you feel like, oh, I'm telling you. So yes, I'm very grateful and appreciative, and I feel you on that.
And all the women did so well. Like Kim, I was so happy for every sister that was on that stage last night.
Yeah,
I couldn't even breathe. I was like, am I gonna be able to do my set? Like, I don't normally get nervous, but I felt so overwhelmed for these women in this moment in Black History Month.
Hell yeah.
Yes. And see, I'm always about like female girl power. Like, I have a tour that I actually do called Queen Aishah Presents Funny and Stilettos. And I started in Washington, D.C. And people be like, the guys in D.C. were calling me like, when you gonna put me on the show? It was like they were like, I'll put some stilettos on because the whole thing that females aren't funny. Females can't put asses in seats. That's all nonsense.
Mhm.
So I would put the show on. The thing about it is, I would put 4 or 5 females on the show, and I would host. So you're getting 4 or 5 one-woman shows because everybody's story is different. You got black, white, thin, thick, gay, straight, light skin, dark skin, white, and then everybody's telling their story because it's different. Give us so this. I've always been, you got to make room for yourself. You can't wait for anybody to do anything. You got to make room and create that space for yourself, and fill it up. So yes, I think that is very very. Did y'all record it? Did anybody record last night?
It's video. They had us mics. They had the cameras out. I think 44 Blue, the production company. Hey, listen.
I love it. Yes, I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good.
Gave us a whole 8 minutes, girl. Laugh Factory don't be giving no time like that.
Right.
People was taking 12 and 14 minutes. I was like, oh, shoot.
That's right. You honey, because let me tell you something. When you go to a for real comedy club, they got that light.
The light, come on.
The light.
That's the light. Okay, you will not be invited. People don't know, like when you see that bright light come on. I know when we in our clubs in our neighborhoods, sometimes we'll see. You see the phone light. It's a different light.
Different light. Oh God.
Respect that light. So let me ask you this: for those of us that are single. So, a lot of you can answer this too. Do you get like people like, well, she's so smart. Like, why isn't she in a relationship? She's so beautiful. Why isn't she in a relationship? That type of stuff? Have y'all heard those things?
Yeah, it's definitely a thing. And then when you throw on like, oh yeah, Harvard, and then that adds a whole nother stereotype realm of questions. Yeah, it's definitely a thing. And I used to kind of hide it, of like hide the brains or whatever, and so I would try to pretend to be the stupid girl of like, how does that work? Like, really? You're so smart. Like, show me.
I'm not doing
that. And then in the back of my mind, I'm like, Lord, he's doing it wrong. Should I tell him? Should I say, where you try to like be the little lady and just try to pull back a little bit. And I realized that does not work for me. So I literally changed my profile to you must find intelligent women sexy.
Yes. I know that's right.
Right.
Can you say that again?
You must find intelligent women sexy.
Okay.
But you also can't be at such a level that, and I appreciate, because I'm very attracted to big brains. So if you got a big brain, I'm like, we can work with everything else, because you're gonna have to stimulate my mind first, and then everything else comes with it.
Right.
But you also can't be an intellectual snob.
Yeah.
I can't deal with, and for some reason I've come to find that the boys from Yale they're not as chill. They're just not as chill. And so I almost steer away from other Ivies. I really do. There's a thing. There is a thing. So I don't
get some of that HBCU Ivy.
Oh no! Oh, let me tell you. Well, we won't talk about. I'm acquainted with Howard University.
Hey guys, I'm acquainted too. I don't walk on that yard many times. I'm just acquainted with it.
Yeah, let's just say. Never mind. We won't say that. So I'll get myself in trouble. But no, yes. Let's just say Howard has been good to me.
Nice.
Yes, it has.
Yeah.
So, but no, it does kind of get you in a situation of where you feel like sometimes you would have to dim your light, dumb down, just to make a man feel bigger than. And I don't do that anymore. And I don't care if you're a construction worker. I don't care if you're out here delivering postal, you manager at Costco. I don't care. I really don't care what you do. I don't care. My husband didn't have a degree when I met him. As a matter of fact, he was a cashier at Kmart.
Oh,
You know, you threw
Look
all the
at
way back to Kmart. There ain't too many of them right there. That's like,
Yeah,
He was and the express cashier, and that's how we met. He yelled at me because I had too many items, and so
oh,
that's funny.
he was like, "Ma'am, you have 20 items in the 12 I had 20 items and the 12 items are last checkout."
yeah, your phone number.
Yeah, no. And he was so mean to me. I was like, my God, he was so cute, but he was so mean. And I happened to see him at a laundromat. My washing machine broke down and I hadn't been to the laundromat in years. And he was there at the laundromat. He was coming out as I was coming in. Didn't hold the door for me. So the red flags were there from day one.
Ring the alarm.
You said Kmart, and I start thinking about the Kmart over there in Burbank. Is that even still open?
Oh no, they
Ain't no Kmart's no more. Is it still?
Girl, it was a Kmart over there when I lived there, 2017, across
Burbank
by IKEA.
Is it
But
still
ain't
there?
Kmart
I don't know if it's still there.
Over there in the same shopping center with the Sally Beauty Supply.
It's gone.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I think all the Kmart's is closed.
It's gone because I went.
Yeah, I'm like, Kmart, that was a long time ago.
Trying to get all the
Honey, that was 1990.
Exactly. So we have one question in the chat really quickly. Beverly wants to know, based on the lessons learned, what are your deal breakers, if any? So Kim, you basically said you don't really do the Ivy League dudes.
I don't stay away from them, but two like will not date, cops, Marines, truckers. Well, I guess that's 3. No.
What'd you say after truckers?
No. She said
cops,
Marines, and truckers.
Marines, truckers. It's an automatic no. I don't care who you are. It's a non-negotiable. It's a I will not 1,000%. I don't care who you are. If you tell me you are a cop or a current or former Marine, trucker.
I was going to ask some questions, but I don't even think somebody gonna get offended. You know what I'm saying? Somebody watching it, they ain't watching the night later on, they're gonna show it to their cousin. And right, so
we can be friends. It's not that I won't be friends with you, but romantic wise, one, I have anxiety. I can't handle knowing that when you leave for work every day, somebody might hurt you, kill you. Every day you walk out the door. I can't handle it for my own mental health. It's too stressful.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I can't handle that. And my love language is quality time. You're out on the road however long. Why would I date a trucker?
Yeah.
He can call you. I can video chat though.
Oh, sure.
No. We're going to need to Netflix and chill on a regular basis.
That's funny. She said her love language. Mine is words of affirmation, but you know your love language can change according to if you're single, married, in a pandemic or not. Did you know that?
In a pandemic. Okay.
No,
add that pandemic, baby, because that matters.
It changed.
No, for real.
So yeah, mine used to be like I don't think I was ever acts of service, quality time, but now I'm words of affirmation, and I'm good with that.
See, I don't even think I think everybody needs to stop talking and just start doing. I've always been.
No, for real.
You can't
Say that again.
Yeah. People need to stop talking and just start doing. Like, what if we didn't have language? How would I know that you love me?
Yeah.
How would I know? If I'm my next guy, he don't even gotta say he loves me. I should know it. Otherwise, like my kids know that I love them. It don't matter what they see on Instagram, who's saying something. They know that I love them because of what I do. And love is a verb. If I say I love you, I love all y'all on here today. And y'all be like, she respect me. She respect me as a Black queen. She loves me. But if you'll never see me loving you, come on now, it's just words. It's empty. It's very empty. So I've always been acts of service. I'm a Libra.
I'm a Libra too, girl.
You a Libra, say, Lonnie. I knew it was something, sis. I knew it.
I'm a Sagittarius.
We love Sagittarius.
Okay,
Kim, what's your sign?
I'm a Virgo.
Woo!
I knew you was a Virgo. Oh, I knew you was a Virgo. Yeah, I knew you was a Virgo.
Virgo. Where I'm like, I named my children at 18. You know, Virgos were like, we need order.
Plan.
Bam, bam, bam.
I need it organized.
Yes.
Ooh.
Virgos are very, very intelligent people.
Mm-hmm.
Very intelligent. Sometimes they be thinking too much, Kim.
No, and I do know that, and then plus two with being in education where I'm accustomed to planning out, or I used to be accustomed to planning out. I would know what I was doing like at least 3 to 4 weeks at a time.
Oh, wow.
You know, because with lesson planning. So that spills over into your real life of like, this needs to be done like this. This needs to be. So this is the first time in my life where I wake up in the morning and I'm like, Phineas and Ferb, what's our adventure today? I don't know if you guys ever used to watch that with your kids, but anyway, on Phineas and Ferb, they'd be like, what are we doing today, Ferb? You know, and I wake up and it's like, what am I doing today? Unless I'm already booked. I never know now what each day is going to bring. And it's so exciting. And I'm not used to this life where that's why, you know, people are like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm out here in these streets.
That's a lot for a Virgo. Right. Yes. That's different for you. That's great though. That's a great.
Yeah, it's been very freeing. It's been very, very freeing too. And a little scary. I thank God for therapy, because my therapist had to teach me or help me see that I can let that go and just be comfortable. And today I just had therapy this morning. And I told him everything that has happened. Trust me, I could be on here for an hour of all the magical things that have happened in the past week. And he said, you do know what this means, right? And I said, I'm finally at peace with being able to say, I am not in control and I'm okay with it.
How about that?
Wow.
Growth.
Yes. Tap in.
Growth. I am not in control. And now I wake up and I'm excited to see what's going to happen instead of fearful of like, I'm not in control and I can't tell you what's happening 2 days from now. And I'm freaking out. Not anymore. I'm fine.
I love it.
The universe is in control. It is not for me to worry about, because with the comedy situation, I fought it. I fought it for years. I fought it. And it was just kind of almost like a happenstance that it came about. And I wasn't going to do it. I told her no initially. And wrote back about 3 hours later after I held a little bit of counsel and people yelled at me and was like, are you nuts? We tell you all the time you should be doing stand-up. If you don't do this, we're going to be so mad at you. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I should do this.
That's beautiful. But I think also that the great blessing for you, Kim, with it being the first time, even though you didn't know any of the ladies, you had already spiritually, it was already that connection.
Oh, yeah.
So that love and all that was there, everybody wanting everyone to win. So I think that is like a perfect way to go to the stage. Because me in the 90s, I was writing it down. I was in front of the camera. I mean, in front of my mirror with a broom or a brush, rehearsing. You know what I'm saying? Getting ready. And it was 4 people in the audience, three people I knew in the audience when I did comedy for the first time. My former husband and 2 of my great sister friends. And there wasn't a lot of people in there. And here we are almost 30 years later. So for you to be able to have that much support, like kindred spirit support, that's a beautiful thing. And
oh yeah, the ex-boyfriend was there. That was beautiful to see my ex-boyfriend. He was there. Not the one that was the mean write it in your phone guy, but the one after that, who is very, very supportive. We're still really good friends. So he was there and he was like, girl, I know you live on 7, and I love you at a 7, but with you at a 10 on a stage with a mic.
Love it.
He's like, I can't wait to see more.
All the single ladies.
Okay. So ladies, I'm going to ask as we start to wrap up, if there are any other questions y'all want to put in the chat, please put the questions in the chat and we will address them. Who has any projects or anything coming up that y'all want to share?
Ooh.
Shows, films, anything.
I am currently producing content on the Kev on Stage Studios streaming service app. And any of those shows on there, if y'all want to stream or get the app, check those out, because I took part on that based on the other side of the camera. But then going back to acting and comedy, a new sketch comedy coming out called The Newcomers, all Black women.
What is it called?
Newcomers?
Newcomers. And we're getting ready to film that. And I'm looking forward to that. So just look out for big things coming and happening. on
Very,
my
very
Instagram, Trina with the Truth. So yeah.
Love it, love it, love it. Sonny, what you have coming up going on?
I have nothing on the books, but I definitely am going to try to audition for some stuff. I'm going to put myself out there a little bit more. Try to do some hosting. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yes, ma'am. And we see your social media contact up there. And Kim, how what do you have coming up, and how can you be reached?
At Lip Service Voiceovers, I just finished a podcast series on monogamy. And I'm about to start shopping that around. So I took a producing class. So I'm kind of a one-man band. I can do the whole thing now in regards to podcast production. So I reached out to one of the biggest podcast producers. I was like, well, let me go and just figure out what I should be doing. And so kind of behind the scenes, I've been working with her. And so I'm kind of like getting it all together and editing right now. But I've been sending it to family and friends, and they're like, well, when is this going up? Because we're ready. We've heard episode 1. When is it? So I've already done 8 eposodes. And interviewing your friends and family, and then you should talk to my one friend about monogamy, and they're in a poly relationship or whatever, and finding out all your friends' information. It has been interesting. So the name of the podcast is called Sex and Lies, and it's more of a documentary format. Where it's educational, of saying things in regards to sex that we've been lied to, where we were like, that's never been true, and we've just been taught to believe it. So it's educational and a little bit of humor, so it kind of fits my aesthetic, if you will. So that's the next thing on the horizon, is the podcast.
Wonderful. And myself, Queen Aishah, actually have a book out with my co-host, Dating After Marriage Chronicles.
Okay.
This is a book at being married over 20 years, and Ebony was married over 10 years. And this book was actually birthed and created living in Los Angeles. Like, just the experience. I was just like, this different, and just getting married in the 90s at 22, when, dudes would like open the door, ask you if you ate, do you want something to eat? Do you want an ice cube? Just different things, and just like it's just a different situation now. So we put together our stories, and I can actually write another book on this too. Like, I had friends of mine that read the book, guys, and they were like, "Yo, this is what y'all dealing with." So y'all can pick this book up. It's on Amazon. It's called Dating After Marriage, or you can just search Queen Aishah or Ebony Caldwell, and you can get it. I have another book that I'm working on, as well as a film situation I'm writing out that came to me. I think it's just a beautiful story, and I'm speaking it into existence so I can get it done. It's really awesome and close to my spirit and my heart. So I have my podcast. We do this every Saturday morning. I know dope people, and I bring all my dope people on, and I'm going to have you ladies back on talking about different projects and all that you were doing. Y'all, my social media is Queen Aishah everywhere. Queen Aishah everywhere. And of course, you can always go on my social media and see what shows and things that I have coming up.
All right. In the A.
Yes, and give a shout out to everybody that's watching live, that will watch later. All of y'all in the chat, we appreciate you. Thank you, Jamie Alexander. She up in there. And my cousin Sharon, she's checking in from Charlotte.
Hey, cuz.
Hey, Kizzy.
Thank you. Laquel is in the chat. I think Laquel, was she on the show? Because I know Laquel's name. Or she owe me some money.
You silly.
Probably the latter.
Laquel Maxwell.
She might owe me some money.
Anyway, you owe me money too. You owe all of us money. Just drop them dollars.
Ladies, thank you so much.
App up there.
Exactly. I appreciate you all sharing your Wednesday afternoon, evening from the West Coast with me, and coming on, Kim, as such a last note. This was a funny thing. This is what happened when you get tired. Kim, I pulled you up last night and didn't remember until I went in to do something, and you popped up. And I said, I didn't send her the message.
Wow.
You see what happened when you need a nap?
No, it was totally fine. It all
worked out. It all worked out.
I moved the date. We're doing the date tomorrow.
Yes.
So it worked out. So it was fine. I really didn't feel like getting in the car anyway and driving anywhere. So, because I don't do the come pick me up at my house. Sir.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Man. Thank you, Mr. Man. We said thank you.
Yes.
And I appreciate you sharing I've done the online dating thing. That don't really work for my spirit. It's not in alignment with me. I got other stuff. Right? Yeah. I'm good.
That's a lot.
I no, it's a lot. It's a lot of a lot of things, and that ain't it. Like, So, ladies, thank you so much. I wish you all the absolute best on our journeys of healing and dating, and Katrina finding our divine mate, helpmate, life partner.
I don't know. I don't
y'all looking for. Your wish is the universe command. Yeah. So thank you all so much. Let's please stay in contact, ladies. I love and appreciate each and every one of you. Sassalani, tell your lady, I said, hey, girl,
and kind of laughing in the background at y'all.
Yes. Thank you so much.
What's that puppy's name? What's the baby's name?
Oh, the baby's name is Karma.
Oh, I love that. Are you
how old?
Karma?
She is 10 weeks. We just got her together, Shay and my girlfriend Shay and I. We just got her together.
It's a new baby.
So does Shay live in LA now?
She's here for a little bit. We working on something.
Okay. What part of? Okay, everybody bringing their pets. I don't have.
No, he's filthy. He smells bad. After
I'm a cat. I like
cats.
I love cats.
You a cat lady, girl?
I love cats. I don't have a cat, but I prefer cats.
My puppy will
still gotta buy cats. I feel like you could just go outside and get a cat. You ain't gotta go to the pet store to get a cat.
Well, let me tell you something. That is hilarious.
That is not how you cat. That's not how you do cats.
I ain't never seen no cats in the pet store ever on no day. You just find a cat. You don't gotta go buy a cat. What?
They do have pet.
God.
Girl, I'm not messing with you. I'm not messing with you.
They have a certain pet. Don't do that. They're a little classy.
Yeah, I have 2 cats.
I love cats.
Well, yeah, we got 2 cats running around here too.
You got cats too? Are you feeding them like that? Girl,
yeah, well, I used to foster puppies, so I always have a lot of animals.
That's really cute. That's nice.
Katrina does. She does.
If you can't get a job, you cannot come live with me. Animals included.
Right.
What?
See, don't you remember from the store? You remember from the show when my mother was like, "That man took you with 3 cats and a rabbit."
Right.
I don't understand why people buy mouths to feed. Why are we buying mouths to feed? I don't understand.
The love.
Therapy dog.
We need to talk about that on stage, Katrina, because I wrote a joke the other day about pets. I'm like, y'all doing the carriages and the carriers. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Come on, it's a lot.
My booby is spoiled, so
it's a lot.
But your pets are beautiful. Your pets are beautiful.
Yeah, I like cats because they are self-sufficient. They will go to the bathroom. They will cover their own stuff up. All I got to do is put the
regretted
down
the decision.
and change to what's the name. I'm not walking nothing. I'm not picking up no Google. I'm not doing none of that. And I'm offended that the people that have the dogs don't pick up the boo.
Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah.
No, I'm a good dog mom. You're a good dog mom.
Okay.
You're not waking me up any time of the night because you need to be walked.
You say I'm not.
You putting a pad on the floor for them to go to bed.
Oh no, he's housebroken.
We're not doing that. Well, ladies, we're about to wrap up. Thank you so much. Thank
you for having us.
Somebody put some more messages in the chat. Who talking to us? So preach, cat.
Right, we don't need another mouth to feed. See, Beverly, no. She's probably from the Midwest. That like Beverly.
We ain't doing that. We from Jersey, honey. We like, But anyway, ladies, y'all have a wonderful night. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for checking out a special episode of I Know Dope People with all the single ladies from the OWN series. And I think we have a few more episodes that are going to air this Friday and next Friday and maybe one more Friday. So make sure you check them out. If you haven't checked out all of the episodes, we're up to episode 7 now, coming this Friday. Make sure you check them out and share them with your people. Get yourself healed. Peace and blessings.
Peace.
Bye. Thank you, everyone, for checking us out. Thank you, Katanya. Katanya is multitasking. She don't want me to tell y'all but she doing a lot. She is at events with her niece. She was driving, and she got home in time to wrap the show up. Black people, we are powerful. Don't play. Thank y'all for watching. Peace and blessings. Queen Aishah.